Kellie, thanks so much for taking the time to meet today.
Sure, absolutely.
Give us the latest and greatest with PowerSchool at ISTE 25.
Well, first of all, as always, ISTE is completely amazing with awesome sessions, awesome booths. The exhibit hall is full of energy. And here at PowerSchool, we have all kinds of things to help just about any person who needs something from technology. So when you first walk in the exhibit hall, I call this our concierge desk, and this is where people might stop and get information about different things. And then we have around the entire booth area different stations where people who are experts in different areas can actually answer questions or maybe give some ideas on how they might use different things within PowerSchool.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, let's take a look. All right, so we'll start here.
Yeah.
This is my favorite one, because this is all about student learning. So how do we help engage and motivate students? And so in this demo station, we look at all kinds of things from using our student information system, which most people know PowerSchool for, but also thinking about how that might work with our LMS Schoology, or even with things like Performance Matters, and how do we then also involve parents in understanding better what's happening with their students. So lots of things happening here at the Engage station here. So this is one that's really important now because we know how important engagement is, especially for the parent community. So we're trying to figure out how do we get them to be more part of what we're doing. So this is kind of what we're talking about at this station.
All right.
Yeah. All right, so moving along, speaking of parents, this is our family engagement area. And so this is where we're talking about how we can leverage communication tools and AI to help parents understand what's happening with their students. So asking questions about, let's say, how many times has my student been absent, or do we owe anything, or how do I find information quickly? This is the family engagement booth. Now, the next one is our really important area, which is around hiring. So we know there's a big teacher shortage. We know there's retention challenges. And so the next station is really where we think about how do we thoughtfully hire and retain staff at PowerSchool. So we have different platforms for that. We've got different ways that we actually have things to help people get their applicants to be getting the right information about job openings, sub-information. We even have an AI tool that's for coaching and mentoring. So if you happen to have new teachers, you can have an AI assistant that helps get them feeling comfortable and in a very, very, I would say, low stress environment, so that we can actually get feedback to the coach and the mentee to help them feel good and hopefully stick with education, which is a great profession. All right, so on this side here, I'm going to stand right here because I don't want to get in the way. We have our theater, and we're doing sessions all of ISTE. About, I would say, every 20 minutes we have a new session. Some of these are led by educators, and some are led by our staff here to talk about all these different topics we have today. And we're really happy to see it's comfortable seating. If you've been to ISTE before, sometimes the chairs are not always comfortable. So this is our area to have people actually watch a very quick presentation, get a quick hit, and then hopefully get more information.
Great.
All right, moving along.
Yep.
All right, so we talked about this happens to be one of our, this is a PowerSchool person presenting, actually on using AI within Schoology. So lots of conversations here, obviously about AI. PowerSchool's building AI into the solutions that people already use. And so we're showing people how easy it is to just use a tool that's already added into a platform that they're probably using every day.
Great.
Okay, this one, super important. We know student attendance has been a huge challenge. We're seeing a lot of, I would say, numbers about how it's dropping, continually dropping. So this station here is about how PowerSchool has, we call the Attendance Intervention Suite. How do we help keep parents informed if their students missing? How do we intervene quickly? And how do we actually make sure that kids are in school? If they miss school, they miss out. So this is kind of our area we talk about how do we help support student attendance.
Very good.
All right, so then we'll kind of wrap up here.
Yeah.
So we've got our student information system session here, and then we have lockers. And this is where people can come and get some swag.
Nice.
Yeah, kind of. My friend said it reminds him of middle school trauma of those locks, but this is a fun place for people to interact and get some swag from PowerSchool. And then finally, wrapping it up, we have our behavior system over here that supports MTSS and other things that are related to student behaviors to try to make sure we focus on positive behaviors and rewarding kids when they're doing what they need to do.
Got a ton of stuff going on,
Ton
Kelly.
of stuff going on.
Very busy. I appreciate you taking the time
Yeah,
to show
thanks
me
so much.
around.
Yes.
And I enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, you too. Thanks,
Thank you.
Kevin.